Hello everyone, it's Wacky Anime What If here to present you with What If Issei Had the Fear System, Chapter 2, Mr. Smiles. The What If continues with Issei looking at the fear system and saying, so if Springtrap kills anyone, do I get the points? The fear system confirms this with a yes. You get the fear points and kill points. Issei just looks at Springtrap and says, okay, so here's the plan. You leave out of my window, and you make sure to hide yourself from everyone until tomorrow at 10 p.m. Make sure you kill a lot of people, and please don't be sloppy. Don't leave any evidence behind. After all, you could end up being caught or having a case made about you, and we don't want that happening. After all, we don't want people knowing that horror icons are coming to life, now do we? As Issei looks directly at Springtrap, Springtrap just looks at Issei and says, fine, brat, but just so you know, if I could, I would have killed you the second I saw you. Issei just laughs and says, yeah, right, you glorified golden Bugs Bunny ripoff. And Springtrap immediately just grunts and walks to the window, just jumps out of it and leaves and says, fuck this shit, I'm out. And as he walks away in the middle of the night to find a place to stay and to kill many people until 10 p.m., where he returns back to Issei. Immediately, Issei is just seen just watching Springtrap leave and just closes his window and lays back in bed. He just goes to sleep. As he does this, he has a smile on his face, thinking of all the chaos that's gonna happen. Time skip to the morning. Issei wakes up, walks to the bathroom, takes a shower, and puts his Kuoh Academy uniform on. As he walks down the stairs to the dining room, he sees on the TV that five dead bodies were found, three ripped apart, and two were crushed to death. All this was on Channel 5, and it was all brought to them by Chris Dickman, is what his last name was. Issei kind of chuckled at the news reporter's last name. But then immediately Issei thought back to the news and thought to Springtrap, and he thought, his work is so sloppy. But oh well, not like mine's any better. Issei casually just drinks the coffee that his mother put on the dining room table. And as his mother put that coffee down, she also puts down a plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs. But Issei immediately inhaled it before the plate even reached the ground. It was empty, and his mother was shocked. But Issei just casually just walked to the fridge, opened the fridge, and pulled out his packed lunches, as he had prepared them yesterday. He ended up walking out with them, putting them in his backpack. And as he left out his home and locked the door behind him, he ended up thinking, so how many points did I get? The fear system pops up in front of him and says, you got 50 fear points and 500 kill points. Issei says, only 50 fear points? The system just says, yes, as the five people weren't important figures, and they weren't influential figures either. Meanwhile, Issei just sighs and says, fine. As he reaches the bus stop, he ends up waiting there until the bus mysteriously just appears in front of him super ominously. As Issei thinks, oh, that's weird. As the bus door opens, he sees that there's an old man driving the bus, and he has a pervy grin as he looks at Issei in the eyes and says, want some free candy? Issei immediately says, fuck this shit, I'm out, and walked away from the bus. Meanwhile, Issei hears the bus radio on the bus just go off saying, one of the buses have been hijacked by an old man. Issei just sees the kids that are in the bus hear this, and they just start fucking panicking as the old man just drives off with the bus. And Issei sees that a few people even just opened the bus door windows and just jumped out. Issei, seeing all this, just casually walked to school as if he didn't see anything happening. He casually made his way to the Kuoh Academy gates, where he saw the student council president, Sonia, looking him directly in the eyes and saying, "So, I heard your bus got hijacked by an old man. How did you exactly get away?" Issei immediately says, "Well, you see, I didn't step into the bus, especially after he offered me some suspicious candy." Immediately, Sonia said, "So, that was the red flag. But anyway, you could have, called the cops to, save the other students," while Issei just looks directly at Sonia and says the most savage thing as he says, "I don't know about you, but it seemed more of a them problem than a me problem." Sonia just looked at Issei stunned and had her mouth just wide open in shock as Issei casually just walked away and heads to the Kuoh Academy building. He walks up the stairs to his class, but he notices as he gets to this top step of the stairs, he trips on absolutely nothing. Issei looks at the stairs and thinks, "Did I trip on the fucking air?" Issei was sent all the way down the stairs. When he finally stopped rolling down the steps and hit the floor, he felt his back hurt immensely as he started to think that he might have been fucking Batman when Bane gave him the backbreaker. Immediately, Issei just gets up and tries to walk it off. As he walks back up the stairs, he carefully observes the steps. And right when he gets all the way up them, he just walks to his class trying to ignore that ever happened. As Issei got to his class, he opened the door, he walked in, and sat down in the back near the window, the so-called protagonist seat. And as he sits there, he saw a white-haired kid sit next to him, staring at him directly into his fucking soul. As Issei was a little bit creeped out, he noticed that the kid was shaking. Unknown to Issei, Koneko was shaking because she's half Nikomata, and her sixth sense went off, warning her of impending danger from Issei. It was sending shivers down Koneko's spine just being near Issei. Issei, while looking directly at Koneko, starts to suspect that she may know something about him. Maybe she might know about his little hobbies that he does at night. And as Issei thinks this, his eyes turn cold as he thinks about interrogating her later. Time skip. Lunchtime. Currently, Koneko is walking up the stairs to the roof. She unlocks the door and walks to the roof bench area and sits there, eating her lunch, while unaware of Issei, who is stalking behind Koneko and has just stealthily opened and closed the door behind him. As he sneaks behind Koneko, Koneko only notices Issei because her sixth sense warned her of danger. She looked behind her and only saw Issei for the split second pull out his knife from his pocket and lunge at her, stabbing Koneko directly in the stomach. At the same time, Koneko ended up kicking Issei directly in the stomach, making him fly away. And as Issei flew away, he lost the grip of his knife and was flung all the way towards the rooftop railings, breaking them. And as Issei was about to fall off the rooftop, he grabbed on to the rooftop railings, the broken ones, and pulled himself up. And as he did so, he saw Koneko trying to go towards the exit door. He immediately ran up towards her and tried to catch up, but he spit out blood. He felt his entire chest as if it caved in. He felt it was hard to breathe, but he ran up directly towards Koneko, grabbed the back of her head, and smashed her head against the door. And as he did this, he pulled out the knife right when Koneko was about to backhand him. He managed to dodge and duck under her for a few seconds before she did this. And Issei immediately stabbed directly under Konako's neck, directly under her jaw, stabbing her directly through, and the knife entered directly into her brain. And as Issei saw this, he said, "Ah, shit, I can't interrogate her now. She's dead." As Issei saw her corpse fall to the ground, he pulled out the knife, just looked into his backpack, casually hummed a song, and ended up pulling out alcohol. As he pulled out some alcohol, he pulled out some matches. He also had some chloroform rags in his backpack too, and a few extra knives, but he would use those at a later date. He casually poured the alcohol all over Konako and poured some of it all over the other areas of the rooftop and started lighting some matches and throwing them around. One of them landing on Konako's body, burning it. Issei immediately just took his backpack and all the evidence away and just walked his merry way down the steps. He also made sure that the security cameras were shut down during the time that he was committing the murder. And as he exited the school, he ended up walking all the way home. And as he walked home, he ended up going directly into his house. He saw his mother and father both in the kitchen, very worried. They saw that Issei opened the door and they ran up to him and said, "Are you okay?" While Issei's mom's worried, Issei's dad said, I thought that you would still be at school." Meanwhile, Issei said, "Oh, even though there was a fire, it wasn't a false alarm or anything, and, the rooftop was on fire. I was in class, so I can't really remember what happened. We just left. I thought it was an entire, drill." While Issei's doing this, his parents are believing every word that he says. He goes up to his room saying that he's tired. And as he goes up to his room, he lays down in bed and waits for Springtrap. Time skip to 9 p.m. Springtrap casually just crawls in Issei's room through his window in a creepy fashion while Issei is watching a horror movie and jump scares the fuck out of Issei as Issei starts screaming like a little bitch and Springtrap just fucking laughs at him. And that's where the what if ends. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you destroy that subscribe button, and just in case this video isn't that good, I'll leave a poll later on to decide if I should redo this. And I hope you all enjoyed. Bye, everyone.